Hi, this is Mrs. A of Mathematic. Today you're going to learn how to find the principal roots of rational and irrational numbers. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share my videos. Okay, so I have here the first table. I have here numbers 1 to 10. And if I'm going to get the square of these numbers or multiplying this number to itself, just like 1 times 1, I have the product which is 1, 2 times 2, 4, number 3, 3 times 3, 9, 4 times 4, 16, 5 times 5, 25, so on and so forth, up to 10 times 10 is equal to 100. Or if you're going to continue the number 11 times 11, now, these numbers here, the result of multiplying a number by itself are what we called perfect squares. So, ang tawag sa mga sagot dito, pag yung number ay minultiply natin sa sarili niya, ang sagot ay perfect squares. Perfect squares are rational numbers obtained by multiplying a number by itself. Now, on the other side here, on the other table, meron akong negative numbers. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, up to negative 10. And if I'm going to multiply this number to itself, negative 1 times negative 1, the answer is also 1. Negative 2 times negative 2, remember if we are multiplying same sign, the product sign is positive. That's why negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Negative 3 times negative 3, positive 9. So, we have here up to negative 10 times negative 10, that is 100. Now, again, these numbers here are what we call perfect squares also, which means that to get the number 1, it's either multiplying 1 times 1 or negative 1 times negative 1. Okay? So, para makuha itong mga perfect squares, ibig sabihin, minultiply natin yung number na yon sa sarili niya. Pwedeng yung number na yon ay positive and negative. Okay? Now, here, other way of asking, ang kabaliktaran niyan, pag sinabi kong get the square root or what is the square root of 1, square root, this is the square root sign. The number inside the square root sign is what we call the radicand. The radicand is 1. So, get the square root of 1. So, ibig sabihin, ano daw yung number na yon na hinahanap ko na pag minultiply ko siya sa sarili niya, ang sagot ay 1. So, ang sagot ko doon ay positive 1 at negative 1. Okay, square root of 4. Ano yung number na yon na pag minultiply ko siya sa sarili niya, ang sagot ay 4. So, 2 times 2, that is 2. And negative 2. Because negative 2 times negative 2 is also positive 4. Nakuha niyo ibig sabihin ng square root? So, here, square root of 9. Ano daw yung number na yon na minultiply ko siya sa sarili niya, ang sagot ay 9. So, I have two answers here, 3 and negative 3. So, square root of 16 is 4 and negative 4. Square root of 25, 5 and negative 5. Square root of 36, 6 and negative 6. Square root of 49, 7 and negative 7. Square root of 64, 8 and negative 8. Square root of 81, 9 and negative 9. And square root of 100 is 10 and negative 10. So, it means if x is the number inside the radical sign or the radicand, if we're going to get the square root of that, the answer is positive and negative. C means whatever that number. Okay, so dalawa yung value natin. Positive and negative. Now, dapat, kung maaari, mamememorize nyo itong mga perfect squares na yan. 1 to 100 at least. Okay, so 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100. Kasi, kung ma-memorize nyo yan, mas madali nyo nang makuha yung square root ng number. Okay? Now, so ayan, nakalista na ngayon kung ano yung mga perfect squares, pero hindi lang dyan nagtatapos ha. Marami pa yan. Pwede pang 11 times 11. How much is 11 times 11? 121. 12 times 12, 144. Okay? So now, this time, focus lang tayo doon sa positive. Kanina, di ba, mayroon akong dalawang tables. Dito, positive. Dito naman, negative. Ngayon, focus tayo sa positive square root. And that is what we call principal root. The principal root is the positive square root of a number. It can be rational or irrational numbers. Okay? So now here, square root of 1, that is 1, positive. Square root of 4, 2. Square root of 16, 4. Square root of 49, 7. Square root of 81, 9. And square root of 100, 10. Okay, now, so these numbers here are what we call perfect squares. And the square roots of a perfect squares are rational numbers. Okay, so example here, square root of 49 is 7. What about the following numbers? 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There are none perfect squares. So, hindi sila perfect squares. Pag kinuha natin yung square root nila, ay hindi whole number ang sagot. Instead, pag gumamit tayo ng calculator, kunin natin yung square root ng 2, ito yung sagot. 1.41, 42, 1, 3, 5, 6, so on and so forth. It means walang katapusan. Tuloy-tuloy yan. Walang end. Okay? Now, ganun din ang square root of 5. Square root of 5, 2.2360679 and so on and so forth. Or 2 and I don't know how you're gonna read that because you don't know what's the end. Okay, same with square root of 10, that is 3.16, 22, 77, so on and so forth. So these numbers are what we call irrational numbers. The square root of a non-perfect squares are irrational numbers. Again, the square root of perfect squares are rational numbers, and the square root of non-perfect squares are irrational numbers. So this one, if you're going to put square root sign, square root of 2, this is now become an irrational number. Okay? Clear? Okay, so now, let's find the root of a number, the principal roots. Okay, so I'm gonna put this table for your reference. Again, the principal root is the positive square root of a number, and it can be rational or irrational. Now, I want you to give the principal roots of the following. Square root of 25, square root of 16, square root of 81, and then square root of 9 over 16. Sorry. Okay, here. Okay, 9 over 16. Now, what is the principal root of 25? Which means, what is the square root of 25? Which means the positive value only, because it says here principal roots. And principal root means positive square root. Okay, so what is the square root of 25? That is 5. Square root of 16, that is 4. Here's 16, that's the number 4. So, which means that the square root is, what is that number that if you're going to multiply to itself, the answer is 16. And then the square root of 81 is 9. Now, look at this one. This is a fraction. But you notice that the numerator is a perfect square and the denominator is also a perfect square. So we can get the square root of the numerator and also the square root of the denominator. We can separate that. So that is square root of 9, that is 3. And square root of 4, square root of 16 is 4. So the answer there is 3/4. Okay? That's how you're going to get the principal roots of the perfect square number or perfect square or the rational numbers. Now, what about how we're going to get the principal root of irrational numbers? Now, in irrational numbers, we can only estimate the square roots. So how to estimate square roots of irrational numbers is to estimate the value of the square root of a number, find the perfect squares before and after the number. Okay, so ngayon, alam natin na yung mga perfect squares natin, ito, di ba? And so on and so forth hanggang may continuation pa yan. So, para makuha natin, ma-estimate natin yung principal root ng irrational numbers, kailangan alamin natin kung ano yung perfect squares before and after that number. So, let's have an example. What is the square root or what is the, or estimate the square root of 5? Okay, square root of 5. We know that square root of 5, this is 4 and this is 9. We know that square root of 5 or 5 is between these two numbers, right? Between these two perfect squares, 4 and 9. And what is the square root of 4? Which means that we can write as the numbers or the perfect squares here. Square root of 5 is between square root of 4 and square root of 9. Okay? And what is square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2 and the square root of 9 is 3. Which means that square root of 5 is between 2 and 3. Okay? That's what we're going to do. We are just going to estimate the square roots. Next, we have here between what two consecutive integers does square root of 50 lie? So again, between what two consecutive integers does square root of 50 lie? So again, I have here perfect squares. And square root of 50, so 50 is between square root of 49 and square root of 64. Okay? So you can now write that 50 is between square root of 49 and square root of 64. And what is the square root of 49? The square root of 49 is 7. And the square root of 64 is 8. You can go back to the table. If you have problem memorizing those number, let's say 49, what is that number that if we multiply to itself, the answer is 49? You can go back to the table or you can make your own table. So here or here, pwedeng may count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pang 7 siya pag naka-order ng ganito ha, pag nakaayos ng sunod-sunod. Pag hindi, gumawa ka ng sarili mong table. Yung kanina nung ipinakita kong table. Pwede mong balikan yon. And then check mo doon kung ano yung square root of 49, 7, ano naman yung square root of 64, and that is 8. Which means that square root of 50 is between 7 and 8. Now, give the principal root of the following. So, kung hindi nyo memorize yung mga perfect squares kanina, pwede nyo balikan yung table. So, square root of 16, 4, kasi 4 times 4, 16. Square root of 100 is 10 because 10 times 10 is 100. Square root of 144 is 12. Square root of 121 is 11. And square root of 81 is 9. Okay? Now, paano naman ito? Between which two integers do the following square roots lie? So, hanapin daw natin yung dalawang integers na kung saan yung square root ng mga given na to, which is non-perfect squares, ay makikita. So, ayan. Number 1, square root of 8. Now, pwede kayo kung hindi nyo memorize yung mga perfect square kanina. Okay, bibigay ako dito ng ano. Pwede nyong ilista or balikan yung table kanina. Diba? Yung mga perfect square natin, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and so on. So, pwede nyong ituloy yan. Bigay ko lang example ng number 1. Okay? So, ngayon, itong square root of 8, dapat alamin nyo, di ba 8? So, sa anong perfect squares makikita before and after? Okay, bago mag-8, ano yung before? That is 4. And 9 yung after. So, ang 8 ay makikita between 4 and 9. Diba? Okay. So, ngayon, ano yung square root ng 4? That is 2. Ano yung square root of 9? That is 3. So, ibig sabihin, the square root or the two integers that the square root of the given square root of 8 lies is between 2 and 3. Okay, ang isasagot nyo ay 2 and 3, hindi yung 4 and 9. Kasi, ibig sabihin nun, ano yung square root ng 4? That is 2. Ano yung square root ng 9? That is 3. So, alamin nyo muna kung ano yung perfect squares na makikita before and after. And then, kunin nyo yung square root. Okay, kagaya ng 45. Okay, so 45, pag ituloy natin ito, 6 times 6, 36. 7 times 7, 49. 8 times 8, 64. Okay, hanggang 64. So, ngayon, nasaan ang 45? Ang 45 ay between 36 and 49. So, dito siya. 36 and 49. So, ngayon, ano yung square root ng 36? That is 6. Ano yung square root ng 49? That is 7. So, between 6 and 7. Okay, now, gusto nyo try? Pwede kayong gumawa ng perfect square? Okay. So, number 3, between 9 and 10. Kasi 81. So, 81, ang 9 times 9 is 81. Ang 10 times 10 is 100. So, ito, ano siya? 85. So, between 81 and 100. Okay. 8, because this is 64. 8 times 8. And 9. So, between 8 and 9. 64 is 65 ito. 8 times 8, 64. 9 times 9, 81. Okay. So, here, between 14 and 15. Because 14 times 14 is 196 and 15 times 15 is 225. So, yon. Square root of 196 is 14. Square root of 225 is 15. Okay? So, that's all for today. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share my videos.